Yeah, thank you everyone for showing up today. I'm sure, we might have some other people, but I appreciate it. Yeah, please put in the chat your information, your name, phone number, email, where you work out of, what type of business you're doing or what you want to do, and any other things that you have, any wants or needs. I know Mark just put in a couple of things. He's looking for properties, from 10,000 to 30,000 in Detroit. So he's really on that. And then, yeah, so, and then he put his YouTube channel in there. And then anything else, Mark, you want to add? I know you.
No, I'm getting ready to drop some more stuff in. We're glad you're all on the meeting. Todd's past meetings, and he's done a ton of them, are on my YouTube channel and on Todd's YouTube channel. So maybe when you send all the information out to people, maybe include your YouTube channel on there, Todd. So there's a wealth of information on there. If you haven't joined our meetup, please join it. I'll put that link in there too next, because we've got a lot of great meetings coming up. I think next week Todd's going to do part 2 of a 4-part series on wholesaling. So, and part 1 of that series is up on the YouTube channel. So,
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, my YouTube, I'm putting in right now the link. It is.
And if there's any property managers on tonight, or any brokers, or anybody that's in a service related business, my full-time job is representing some really large companies and small companies all over the country on generating leads. So I can show them how they can generate leads. Just contact me and I'll send you some information, and my email and numbers in there. Thanks for asking me, Todd.
Yep, for sure. Appreciate it. So I know, Maureen, where are you out of again? Okay.
I'm in the Detroit area. Well, Sterling Heights. I live in Sterling. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. And Trish, I know you're in Oakland County. And RY, where are you out of? All right. And then I know Stephen Morrow is connecting right now. He's actually out of Wayne County, Detroit, Romulus, Ypsi, Belleville, all those areas. Hey, Steve, how you doing?
What's up, Todd? How you doing?
What's going on, my man? Thanks for joining.
Of course.
All right. So today, this is, I guess, we're going to go over a purchase agreement for wholesaling. If you ever been on, these before, you should have received a link from me that had a purchase agreement in there, an assignment agreement, a lead sheet, and a few other items. So, but I want to go over my purchase agreement. I'm a couple of samples I'm going to show to you. And then also any other questions you might have, related to real estate, investing, and all that good stuff. So wholesaling, things like that. And then if you want to put in the chat, please, your name, email, phone number, and what type of business you're doing or want to do, kind of tell us where you're at. And then if you have any good topics, because we're going to do this every week, it's going to be a quick tip. So if you have any good topics that you would like to hear about, please put that in the chat also. Okay. So first of all, just quickly, I just want you guys to know everything, we tell you, anything I say on here, I always say, is a lie. If you like it, try it yourself. We're not attorneys. I'm not a CPA. So I just want to protect my butt on that. All right. And then let me share
Said
my
another
screen
way,
here.
don't sue me.
Yeah, so you don't sue me. Exactly. Hey, Caleb, how you doing?
Doing all right, thanks.
Awesome. Where are you out of?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Awesome, awesome. Sounds good. All right, so I'm gonna share my screen now. Do we have any active wholesalers currently on right now? Has anyone who has not wholesaled a deal yet?
Yeah, I have, and that's why I'm here. I'm trying to learn some more about it.
Awesome, awesome. Trish, have you wholesaled yet?
I'm actually hunting for deals right now. So no, I have not done my first deal yet.
Awesome. And RY, if you could hear us, have you wholesaled yet?
No, no, not yet.
Okay. Where are you out of?
Metro Detroit area, Detroit, Michigan.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for coming. And Maureen, have you wholesaled yet?
No, I haven't, but that's what I'm basically interested in, is wholesaling.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm glad everyone came. So I'm going to show you my purchase agreement. This is a purchase agreement I use for wholesaling, and I've changed it over the years. And I think, just to make it a little bit better, I might add something. I might talk to another wholesaler that's been doing it a long time, and or they just might have a section in it that I like. So let me share my screen over here. All right, perfect. All right, I got a couple of different ones I want to show you. So I got a basic. Can everyone see that? Mark, can you see that? Thumbs up.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, awesome. So I got a 3-page purchase agreement. I could probably oh no, it's 4, but you can see the signatures on the last page. I make it big so they could read it. And when I go into a house and have a customer sign this, if I'm doing it face to face, and I'm gonna go, let's say I'm gonna do that. I'll do that with you right now. Let's say I fill this out. Let's say I go to a house, I talk to the seller, and they want $50,000 for a house. Then here's exactly what I do every single time. They say, I go, how much are you looking to get for the house? I walk through the house. They told me 50,000. Then I kind of pause and I say, man, I was thinking half that. So I always, I was thinking half that. So right there's 25,000. And then I don't say another word. I let them say the next word. Okay. I always say the next one speaks loses. That's how and it gets uncomfortable after 5 seconds, 10 seconds, nobody's talking. And then eventually they're going to say something. They're going to say, I can't do 25,000. Sometimes they'll say, all right, they might take it. And if they say I can't do 25,000, I say, well, I can't do 50,000. There's no way. There's this. And I'm nice about it. I'm not rude. I'm not, I'm just, there's just the facts. I always tell them it's all about the numbers at this point, what I got to do to bring this house up to, back to speed. And because I'm an investor, the cities are going to crack down on me because I got to get a city certified. They're going to make me do the inspections, the lead base, and they're going to make, it's just the way they do it. So it's going to cost me more than it's going to cost you if you were just going to do it. And then I try to figure out where they're at again. But let's say we settle and I'm buying it for $30,000. Okay. So then I say, okay, well, I'll go in my car. It'll take me about 3 minutes. And I'll fill this out really fast and I'll come back and go over it with you. Boom. All right, so let's say this is it. So I have blank ones of these in my car, right? This one's a typed one. Let me show you what I'm sure you guys know what it looks like, but I'm gonna pull one up, all right? Bear with me 1 minute. All right, here's a fill-in purchase agreement. I'll just kind of show you what it looks like. You see that? I print them out and I keep them in my car. All right, and then I write on it. So the one I'm going to go over though, I typed on it, but just figure you're writing everything. You know, I keep everything blank. Where you put that, it's a cash sale, the day of closing, you know, the occupancy, if it's vacant, stuff like that. And then I write stuff in here and I sign it, they sign it. All right, so let me go back to this. All right, so this is the part in black that you fill out if you're doing it in writing. You fill out the address, of course, the names, your name, and you know the county and the street. All this other stuff, you never have to read it or go over it. It's like the party agrees that the seller will sell and buy, and buyer will buy the following property upon the following terms and condition in this agreement. In any added handwriting terms or condition conflict with any printed or marked, the handwritten terms and conditions will control. So you put in that's the first time I ever read that, to be honest with you. That's how much it doesn't mean anything. This is the part that means stuff. The price, I put $35,000. I put cash. The closing day, it says closing shall be on or before 5/15. So if I'm in a house, like today is the 20th of April. So instead of doing 30 days, and if I had a deal today, instead of doing it for 30 days, like May 20th, I would put in there May 31st, the last day of the month. I say, look, I'm going to close on or before the end of next month. And that's what I tell them. All right, so it gives me an extra 10 days. Does that make sense? Because you actually want it as long as possible. You might get it sold real fast and close it in 2 weeks, great. But you really want it as long as possible. All right, so in here, I always put when I'm, go to this one here. I'm going to show you this. You see right where it says occupancy? I got to find it. Property is vacant and will be given occupancy at closing, empty of possessions. Property is occupied by seller or family member, and buyer will be given occupancy at closing, empty of possessions. Property is occupied by tenant, and tenant will be allowed to remain in the property for the duration of the lease. Okay. So you mark one of those boxes. If there's all kinds of different situations, sometimes I put, there might be a squatter in the house. So I won't mark any of those boxes. And then in the note sections here, I'll write buyer to assume any and all non-paying tenants / squatters. Okay? Because that's the way I'm going to sell the deal. So you want to put that in the additional terms. All right. So whatever the situation is, you want to put that in there, make it clear. Okay. And 90% of the time, I'm paying all the closing costs for the seller. So buyer shall pay the following closing costs, and seller shall pay no closing costs. Okay. And then let me come back to this one. All right. So here's an assignment agreement, right? Seller agrees that the buyer may market list on the multiple listing service, negotiate and resell the property to a third party via assignment of contract. Buyer may elect to assign the contract to a related entity or third party. In the event, all rights, interests, suits, claims, and titles in the agreement will be assigned to a assignee, and a signer will be released from any liability and obligations. That part protects me when I assign it. All right. So this gives me the ability to assign this contract. I can market it. I can list it on the MLS. It gives me all that good stuff. All right. What you got to be careful of is when you list it on the MLS, it's going to hit Zillow. It's going to hit everywhere. It might go back to the seller. That's what you do not want, right? So if you're going to list on the MLS, you're going to have to tell the seller that's what you're going to do. All right. All right. So there's that. Here's a condition of property. Seller understands there will be no appraisals and no repairs requested to be done by the seller. Buyer shall be permitted to conduct a walkthrough inspection of the property within 48 hours of closing for buyer to confirm that the property is in the same condition as existed on the date of this agreement. If buyer is not satisfied, it is sole discretion that the property has been maintained by the seller in the same condition. Buyer shall have the right to terminate the agreement. That's an escape clause. You could get out of this deal because of this. All right. Try not to write deals and get out of them, but there you go. Notices above that. I wanted to go over that with you. It is agreed and understood by all parties that buyers may file and register a claim of interest or a memorandum of the purchase agreement with the Register of Deeds for the county in which the property is located. This will remain in place if the seller or anyone associated with the sale of the house does not perform on this contract. Does anyone not know what a claim of interest is?
You could explain it.
Okay, perfect. A claim of interest. So if I get a purchase agreement, because it's written in there that I could file a claim of interest, if for some reason I think the seller is trying to sell it out from under me after they signed a purchase agreement, or someone else tries to swoop in and try to give them more money and cut me out of the deal, then I have the right to file a claim of interest. Okay. And what that claim of interest does, it says pretty much that we got a purchase agreement, and they gotta follow through with this purchase agreement. So I file it with the county, and it puts a lien on the property. What it does is it clouds the title. So when they go to try to sell the house to somebody else, they're gonna see my claim of interest on it. And then they're going to call me, the title company will call me, someone will call me and try to get me to remove it. And then I had one last year where we had a claim of interest probably a few years ago. They finally went to go sell it. They called me and I said, no, I have a purchase agreement. I want to buy the property, this and this and that. And they said, well, how much is it going to cost to, for you to, discharge and discharge this claim of interest so we can have clear title? I told them $7,000. So what happened is the title company prepares a discharge of mortgage or discharge of lien. And once I get the 7,000, I sign it in front of them. We exchange it, if that makes sense. So they could still close the deal with whoever they're going to close it to. I get 7,000. Sometimes I only get 2,000 or 5,000. You do whatever you think is necessary, or you're trying to avoid them suing you and taking you to court. Okay, because that could get costly. Your judge the judge could not, you should win the case, but maybe not. So you just try to, for a judge, it might cost $4,000 or $5,000. So usually you want to keep it under that or right at that amount. All right. And you always got to keep the purchase agreement. Don't lose it, because if you file a claim of interest and 2 or 3 years goes by and you're getting pulled into court, and you got to have that original purchase agreement to show that your purchase agreement stated that you have the right to file a claim of interest. All right. So hopefully that made sense. All right. So there's all that. And, I put in here seller acknowledges that some members of buyers are licensed real estate agents. However, there's no agency relationships being established by this agreement, and buyer is a real estate investor and is buying the property with the intent to make a profit. All right. So then here, assignment of contract. Right there, it says seller agrees that the buyer may market, list on the multiple listing service. Oh, we went over that, didn't we? I'm sorry. Sorry. In assign, we went over that. All right, so inspection period. I got 2 purchase agreements I'm going to show you. This one here, I've always used this before, and I just changed it. Okay, because I want 2 escape clauses. Remember, the escape clause is right here, condition of the property. All right. Condition of the property. Seller, that's one of the escape clauses. So right here it says, purchase is contingent on a 10-day business day or 10 business day inspection period after contract acceptance. Okay, so what I put in there, I'm going to show you, and I'm going to change it because I just changed it. All right, purchase. All right, here's what I put. So you see this line right here. It says purchase is contingent on a favorable inspection. That's it. It's very broad. Sellers should make property accessible to buyer and or buyer's lender partners, blah, 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 blah. All right, so a favorable inspection, what does that mean? That could mean anything. My partner didn't agree. I don't have to tell him anything. I'll just say, look, it was contingent on a favorable inspection. We did our inspection, and we're not going to be able to do this. All right, so that's another escape clause right there. I don't put a certain day amount there. That's all I put. Purchase is contingent on a favorable inspection. Now, if you get a seller that says something, you could change it. There's sometimes I take things out, like here, the claim of interest. Once in a great while, they might look at this, and I know it's a good deal. They might have their real estate relative look at it and say, take that out, or an attorney says, don't let them do that, this and that. So sometimes you got to take things out just to make someone happy and just to get the deal done. But usually I don't change anything. Okay. So as you can see on my purchase agreement, there is no spot for EMD, earnest money deposit, nothing at all. All right. So I don't put an earnest money deposit. Now, if it's a great deal, I would just write it in here. If I knew it was a killer deal, I would put, $1,000 down, $5,000 down, $10,000 down, just depending on the deal. But 95% of the time, I don't put anything down. Another, I guess, I don't want to call it trick, but another, how am I trying to word this? I don't. What's that, Mark?
Protection.
No, another, I can't think of the word. But anyway, sometimes I go to the seller and I say, look, I'm gonna have to come back and inspect the property. I'm gonna bring back my property manager. I'm gonna bring back some of my contractors, my project manager, and maybe a few people that maybe I'm gonna rent the house to. You know, I try to get a key, and if not, you know, there's times where I'll give them, you know, for this headache, I'm gonna put an earnest money deposit down. Usually I don't, but here's $100, and I'm gonna write right on there that it's non-refundable. And I give them $100 non-refundable earnest money deposit because I know I'm gonna sell the deal. Okay, if I don't think I'm gonna sell it, I'm not gonna do that. All right, but pretty much, you know, if you, that way you're gonna make sure you're gonna get back in that house many a times. Now, could you lose your $100? What if the title comes back all jacked up? You know, if the title comes back and, you know, there's a lien that you're never gonna get taken off, you're gonna lose $100. So just, you know, be careful once you lose enough of those. I haven't lost one yet, but I've only done it a handful of times. All right, so in the additional comments, I always put a few terms here. I put buyers as a licensed salesperson in the state of Michigan because I am, okay? And technically you're supposed to do that if you're a licensed agent. On this particular one that I was doing, buyer to pay off the mortgage and all closing costs. Seller not to have to bring any money to closing. And the reason I did that, they had a mortgage. You can see I wrote it for $35,000. They owed about $34,500. Wasn't sure, so that's why I put that in there. I said, look, if you owe a little bit more, if you owe a little bit less, you're not getting any money, this and that. All right, so that's why I did it that way. And then I always put the buyer to be responsible. On this particular one, I usually don't write this, but they were confused about tax prorations. So I said buyer to responsible for property taxes starting at the day of closing. All right, buyer to pay all closing costs. Buyer buying as is, and seller selling as is. So I kind of, even though it says it up in here, I kind of put it down here too, because let me show you how I go over the purchase agreement with the seller. I said, okay, Erica, so here's the purchase agreement. As you see, I got today's date up on top. I got your name, my company name. Here's the address. You know, I'm buying it for $35,000. I'm paying cash. I'm going to close on or before May 15th. And as you see, remember I told you I'm going to pay all the closing costs. Seller will pay no closing costs. All right. And then let's see. I know the property's vacant. I'll get it at closing, right? Okay, perfect. And then just as we said before, you know, I'm a licensed, you know, agent. I'm gonna pay off the mortgage and all closing costs. You won't have to bring anything to closing. The buyer's responsible. You know, I'm gonna pay the property taxes starting of the day of closing. So anything before, I know you got an escrow account. I'm sure they paid it. And I'm buying it as is and you're selling it as is. I have already signed it. So sign right here, please. Boom. They sign it. And then I have the other lady, Sandy, sign it right here. Okay, now I'm going to scan it on my phone. I'll give you the original. I got a scanner right on my phone. Boom, boom, boom. I rename the PDF in the scanner. I email it to myself and my title company at the same time, and I open up title. That's how easy it is. Okay, so I'm not going over, I'm just going over the main things. Boom, 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 you know, and that's how I'm doing it. Anybody, I know it's, anyone have any questions so far? What do you think? Is it simple? Is it hard? What do you guys think? Don't all talk at once.
The agreement itself seems simple enough. Will in future meetings or whatever, either yourself or Mark be going through different parts of the process, I guess, as far as discovering a property and analyzing it for wholesale value, and then further than that, where to establish buyers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing a 4-part wholesaling series right now. We're on part 2. That's going to be the first, what is it, Mark? The first Tuesday. So May 7th,
Thursday, first Thursday.
Thursday, May 7th.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
So, yeah, so we go all over that stuff. If you go to my YouTube, Mark's YouTube, you'll see some other, we've done a
There's
lot.
hundreds of videos on the YouTube channels that address almost every question you'll come up with. But on where Todd's doing the series 2, we can answer, he'll be able to answer a lot more questions and stuff. And there's like one where we spend an hour and a half going through a purchase agreement, section by section.
Okay.
I know most of you guys are new on this, so it seems scary, or you're saying this is too much or whatever, but the way Todd presented at the end is what counts. And you got to remember, you're talking to motivated sellers, and you're also talking to people that know absolutely nothing about a real estate contract. So you're going to be way more knowledgeable than them. So, and if you're brand new to this, like, I highly recommend you team up with somebody like Todd, where you can see if you can, help work with him in that, and just sit in the same room when he's working, and then you'll learn so much. It'll be unbelievable. But figure out a way that you can help whoever the person is that goes out and does these deals.